So I was just reading an article earlier, and it was this kind of a joke about social media influencers, and it was a joke about Jesus being the ultimate millennial, because there was like four things that he lived at home into his 30s, fermented his own alcohol, and the very last one was he thought he would be an influencer because he had 13 followers. And that made me laugh, and I thought about this. This is something that I've wanted to mention before, and I've talked about briefly, but it just seems so pointless to even discuss. Why would I give a shit about what other people do with their time? It's because I grew up with commercials. All of us grew up with commercials and ads. And as I watched the internet grow and ad blocker become more popular, I've watched marketing agencies and advertisers, I've read their discussions on forums and on their websites about how do we advertise to people now? How do we get our brand across when people aren't watching television anymore? They're not listening to the radio. So they move to the internet, pop-up ads. Well, once we had ad blocker, the next obvious solution is going to be to get the people to market directly to their friends. And this is where the whole social media influencer group or realm or niche came from. Now, a couple of years ago, it was going strong. And for those who aren't aware of what this means, a social media influencer is, it's very simple. It's somebody who poses with a bag of Doritos and says, oh yeah, just hanging out at the beach with a bag of Doritos, hashtag Doritos, Frito-Lay, or whatever it might be. And I don't even like to mention brands. I should have just said corn chips, because, to me, anytime you even mention a particular brand, you may as well be selling that brand, which is fine. If there's a person who's selling a product that they really like a lot of the YouTube channels, they might sell a subscription or have an affiliate link to something that they really stand behind, whatever. Brilliant.org is one I hear all the time, which it's like click off. I understand that people are trying to market. Here's the problem: is when some of these famous celebrities are getting paid $50,000 to $100,000 for one post with a product, just one post. And so what's happened is that all these people have jumped on the bandwagon. They want to be influencers because they can make quick, easy money. Now, when the ad agency started realizing they were losing money on doing this in a lot of cases, and the reason they were losing money is because somebody would say, well, I want to be an influencer. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to buy myself followers. And yes, you can buy yourself followers. Instagram is obviously what I'm mostly speaking about. It is, to me, the cesspool of the internet. To be honest, I've never even been on Instagram. I only read about it. I mean, once in a while I'll see a picture that'll say, this picture's on Instagram or something, but I just won't go on it. And pretty much everything on there is fake. I mean, you might have some real stories, but the people who are posting regularly on Instagram with a lot of followers are the kind of people who really just want to give you an idea or an image of what your life could be like, even though that's not what their real life is like. And most of them will admit that. I read an article from an Instagram influencer, a confession from somebody who quit doing it and said that they would spend 10 to 12 hours a day on the right photo. They'd get up at 4 a.m., try to get the right lighting in some European town before everybody's awake. Then they would Photoshop people out, skinny up their hips, make them, it's pretty disgusting. But all of this editing and changing their body proportions, the sunlight, all the filters that they add to these pictures, also, they can just be posing with a little bottle of Coke or some soda, beverage, food. Even one I saw with a lady who said, "Oh, it's breakfast in the motel I'm staying at," and she was obviously posing in this crazy picture with all these heart balloons, 50 of them, and all this stuff laid out, and then a bottle of Listerine on the side table, and then of course at the bottom of her thing it was like hashtag Listerine. Laws were passed, over the last couple of years, and you are required by law to declare if you are supporting or promoting a product, paid product placements, which I think is phenomenal that they have to do that. You can be sued for not posting that because it's such a serious thing. Because people look up to those celebrities. People look up to people who have a lot of followers and think this person must be know what they're talking about. And This is coming from the perspective of just some random dude. I might have 20,000 subscribers, but that doesn't mean I have 20,000 followers or people who watch my channel. But I've seen people with half as many subscribers as I have saying, oh, well, I'm an influencer. I can go out and I can make a bunch of money because people want to hear what I have to say. And the problem is that people are promoting products they don't give a shit about. I can't believe that I've spent 8 years without not only using ads on my channel, but without promoting one product. And maybe I've mentioned that before, maybe that sounds a little arrogant, but yeah, I should take pride in that, I think, because I'm doing this for the reason that I enjoy it. If I can ever make money off of YouTube videos, I'd be more than glad to do so, but I refuse to sell out and do paid product placements. So I'm not going to go in too deep in this. The reason why this bothers me is simple. Because we as a society have had to put up with bullshit ads for so long. If you want a bag of corn chips, do you need somebody to tell you which brand to buy? If you want a beverage, do you not know what you're already thirsty for? So, we have the problem of crap being thrown in our face, and we purposefully got ad blockers, ad-free radio, cable television to get rid of the, standard television stations, and then the cable started putting ads, so we ditched it and went to Netflix and the internet. And guess what? I even read that Netflix might have ads soon, and some of these other ones, I have like the cheap version of Hulu, but I use ad blockers, so when a commercial comes on, it just shows a black screen, and it says, "It seems you may have an ad blocker enabled. Please disable it so we can continue to provide you quality programming at an affordable price." I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to succumb to commercials, I just don't buy into it. I think that the economy surrounding these things, I think advertisements are pretty much disgusting to me, and I can't help it. I'm not saying that companies shouldn't advertise. I'm just saying it shouldn't be stuffed in our faces. So when it's pushed in your face by someone who you respect and admire and look up to, a sucker's born every minute, but I feel like I have to kind of dispel this myth that these products are actually worthy, because people really are that dumb. And I don't mean that offensively, but, if you're going to go out and buy a product because somebody else put it in their video and you saw them using it, you really got to think twice about this. One of the worst is clothing companies, but it's obviously soda companies, candy, a whole variety of other things. And sure, if they come up to somebody who has a lot of subscribers or followers and say, look, we'll pay you $10,000 to talk about our product, it's really hard when you're broke not to say, hell yeah, I'll do that. So, if a company came to me and said, hey, I'll give you our product for free to try, and if you like it, you can suggest it, I would totally do it, if it paid enough. But I would be honest with saying, hey, I don't, this is truly how I feel. And that's exactly what happened to me a few months ago when that company sent me that CBD tincture. Then when I found out it was $129 a bottle, and I didn't really get much benefit off of it, I never promoted it. I never even mentioned the company name, because until I have used something and I really stand behind it, I won't even mention it. But that doesn't make me a good person. That doesn't make me, a stand-up guy. It makes me an idiot in today's world. Because if you're not willing to get your hand in the pot and get some of the money from the ad agencies and some of the ad revenue being passed around, maybe I'm the fool. Maybe I'm just the holdout, the one who's, your values are too good to sell out, so you're just going to be broke your whole life. Maybe so. But maybe something will come my way where I can do it legitimately. But the Instagram thing, beyond the influencer aspect, Instagram photos are a complete joke. You may have read the story recently about the California poppy fields and how they're being invaded by Instagrammers. They're laying out in the poppies to get these perfect pictures. And you're not supposed to go out in the poppies. You're supposed to stay on the trail. But there was even somebody who landed a helicopter near there. People are just idiots. Instagram is a huge thing for a lot of people, and they make a lot of money off of their pictures. So they've been going to a lot of natural areas and trying to get the perfect picture. I read an article from one guy that said he was up at a hot spring, some natural hot spring somewhere at the top of a hill, and the whole time he was there for like an hour, these two teenager girls were in their bikinis posing and taking pictures in the hot springs, and they just went on, and then they were posing under a waterfall, and some guy's like, yeah, they're Instagrammers, they're influencers, you know. That's become an actual job, and to me it's sickening, but call me old school, whatever. Those are my thoughts on influencers. I think it's kind of a disgusting practice. I think it's inauthentic. And if it comes down to just making money, then so be it. Be honest about it, but don't pretend like you like a product. You know, it's just, I guess it's just the world we live in. You can complain all you want, it's not going to change anything. But those are my thoughts on it. So if you are an influencer, you know, and you disagree with that, fine. I mean, leave a comment. Let me know why you think that promoting products that you don't care about is, you know, such a valuable addition to the world. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a little cynical because I don't like shallow, dry bullshit. Chicks in bikinis changing their fucking, you know, changing the frame of the picture and using Photoshop and editing all this in. It makes people feel depressed when they see this shit. Most people really are dumb enough to believe that, you know, people really live these magnificent lives. The truth is they all wake up with their face looking like shit. Everybody sits on the toilet. You know, everybody has zits. It's not something that you can escape, the fact that we're all just people. And when I say that, it's so obvious. We should all know that. Yeah, we're all just people. But there are people out there who really don't know that. I've met people who are ultra depressed because they think everybody else is out there having fun. Hell, I've had people even mention me on my, you know, send me messages and emails saying, man, you seem like you have the greatest life and you're always doing fun stuff. I wish I could meet you, or I wish I could go out and do the things you do. And I'm like, I would never, you know, there are people who would say, oh yeah, it's great. I'm always like, dude, it ain't what it seems like. I make a video when I'm feeling like making a video. Sometimes I'm just slumped on the couch watching a fucked up show or something, or, you know, Game of Thrones, or, you know, I'm just a human being who does normal things too. The online image of people is no different than the online, I should say no different than the way television made movie stars seem like they have these great lives. Or in the past we always think the rich people were so happy and they sat around eating chocolate-covered fruits all day and never had a problem in the world. We know that's not true. Everyone suffers. It's just a matter of what degree you suffer from. So if you think that you're suffering because you're no longer getting paid $10,000 to $20,000 to post a picture of you with a bottle of soda in your hand, sorry, that's not a job. That's just the way I see it. You know, maybe it's time to move on to something else. That's my opinion on it, cynical or arrogant as it may be. But I just don't like the shallowness that I see in society and the bullshit. And I'm really hoping we can overcome that, but I don't, you know, really think that we can. I mean, people are always going to want to be seen as something more than they are. I guess that's okay. It's our own ego tapping at the door. Take care, everybody. Be well. Talk to you later.